I'll go over this right now. This guy wanted me to take pictures and email them to him. So I'll do that and show the process of this console at least on the video. I already took it apart and cleaned up all the chrome pieces best I could. Steel wool and chrome polish. I don't have it before, unfortunately, so they were rough. They were pretty dirty. And I take and scrubbed this and sprayed it off with the hose pipe outside. Both these parts. I'm going to cover the black section with black vinyl instead of painting it. I guess he don't want all this to happen again, which I don't blame him. Probably put a top stitch seam right here, just so I don't waste so much material. I'll cut 2 strips with a little L shape and sew them together. That'll be the next step. Alright, first step, get the pattern for half of this. What we'll do is lay it here and trace a little extra to fold around the edges. Find the center. From the center I add a 1/2 inch for my seam allowance where I'm going to stitch it. So the actual seam will fall right there on this piece. And I simply flip it over for the other side. Trace that and just stitch the other end. Here, I'll even show that. Got our 2 pieces. I'm going to stitch the 1/2 inch seam allowance. Really about 3/8. I always do a lock stitch. You go back and forth 2 or 3 stitches. That way it doesn't come unraveled. Now for a top stitch. Since I have a single stitch sewing machine, I usually do 1, but this is in the center, so I'm going to do a butterfly stitch. 1 on each side of the seam. And to do that, I fold our 3/8 1/2 inch seam allowance over like that. If I was doing a single one on one side, I would fold the whole seam allowance over and then stitch it shut right here. Next step, we'll glue it. Get that set up and I'll come back for the gluing. Next step, to glue this. Went over this quite a few times. I use Wellwood glue sprayed through a paint gun and air compressor. I'll have to mute the next clip because my air compressor will kick on and it's very loud. Alright, now let this dry a few minutes. It's already dried a couple minutes, so just another second here. See if I don't mess it up on film. I'll put a little mark for my center. I can't see this too well. I'll try to do the other side with you. I'm going to stretch it across the top so that it lines up. I don't want it to veer off and not cover the right spots. And that's usually what happens when I'm trying to glue something. The phone rings, somebody stops by, something. That's it. Notice I spray glue towards the inside too because I want it to roll over. My goodness. Welcome to my life. Alright, now another 5 minutes before you got here.
Nope.
Let's film it. Looks like you won't be on it for just a minute. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I stretched here for the corners. Well, I got a nice molded corner. So I'll flip it over and glue the back side and fold these edges. We'll trim it too after we spray the glue. Alright, we'll try the camera on the other side. Notice I kept locking. You really shouldn't be in here, it's glued strong. Open it. Well, it is open, never mind.
That's right.
I'm gonna cut slits where all these marks. I'm not gonna go too far though. I'm gonna go about a 1/4 inch, almost 1/2 inch away from it. Oh, I'll be in there in just a minute, dude. I don't cut my seam, so if I cut that, it could come unraveled. When we did the lock stitch, I'll glue it all the way up. And I simply pull it over nice and tight. We don't want any air bubbles between the edge and the outside edge especially. I'll cover this piece too. And I'll put it together and come back and show that clip. We'll also trim in that crease with a razor. Here's a finished piece. That's all I was supposed to do. He's got this, and it looks awful. So I just happen to have some cloth type material that's perfect for that, so redo that for him too. Not even sewn. I'll sew mine. Alright, I've got the liner sewn up to fit in there. I'm going to spray that with the paint gun, glue. I'm going to brush inside of here. Then I want to spray on this, of course, and I don't feel like taping it up. So I'll do that, put it together, and show you the finished product. Yes, do something with it. I guess he's going to paint it black, I don't know. Could have done it for him. He said he wanted to do it. It's covered, and that made it look 100 times better. I'm just cleaning all this. I gotta vacuum that out. It's awful about keeping stuff stuck to it. There's your seat bottom. Very rough shape. Very rough. Don't have anything of a frame left here. Even the main frame is the main seat frame is just rusted to nothing almost. Gonna collapse on you. We mentioned go ahead and trying to fix this best we can and put it together, and you get a new bottom later. But in the meantime, if you try to use this one and then a spring pops and breaks and pops up through the seat cover, then you're going to have to recover the seat too. You have to make that choice, man. If you want to go in and get a new bottoms, let me do the best I can with this. So if you fix this and then later get a new bottom also, you're going to spend even more money than just getting the bottom now. But I understand if you got to wait, I'd be in the same situation. Definitely new foam. Look at that. It's about like a pancake. Backs can deal with.